Hello, howdy, hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Grace, and this is a series on my channel called The Artist Diaries. I've got a cat over here who's scratching it up. But anyway, basically, it's a series where I sit down with you once a week to talk about my life as someone who is an aspiring full-time artist. So that can look like sharing what I've done in the week or just, what's going on in my life. Um, Last week was like a really exciting week, and I got to tell you guys about a couple of really big auditions that I was doing, and that I had a piece of art in an art gallery here, which was really exciting. It's the first time I've had my art in a show like that. So that was really awesome. This past week, was not full of exciting new things, really. Which is fine. I think that it's important that I still document it, even though it wasn't like this big exciting week, because I think that that's like part of the process. Sometimes you're gonna have really big exciting weeks, and sometimes it's just gonna be like, living my daily life. So I went to work. I really wanted to focus this week on like getting to work on time, because I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of slacking in that area lately. Not like on purpose, but also like I wasn't doing a ton to try to make sure that I got to work on time. And because I'm a barista who does the opening shift, I can kind of get away with being 5 or 10 minutes late, because it's like nobody else is there. And as long as I get everything done for opening, like nobody really notices that I'm late. But I don't want to be a person who's just like, oh, I can show up late, it's whatever. So this week I really put in a lot of effort to just being there right on time. And I think for the most part I did that. Sometimes I was like in that 5-minute range, but progress is progress. Another thing that has been going on in my life this week, I'm planning to move. So I don't know if I've talked about this with you guys before, but yeah, my lease here in Atlanta is going to be up at the end of April. And I'm going to move to New York, which is really exciting and super scary. So I've been thinking about that a lot this week, and I've been spending so much time thinking about that I haven't really been working on any art, like hardly at all. I've done a few like submitting to auditions and stuff, and a little bit of brainstorming about my book and how I'm like working on that. But mostly I've been thinking about moving. And I've been sort of thinking about like, okay, what all do I have to get rid of? What am I selling? All of that stuff. But also like, what's my plan for when I get there? And I think I've got like a solid plan in place in my brain for what I'm gonna do when I get to New York. And I'm not gonna share all of that with you right now because it's still in the works, and I don't wanna like commit in my brain about that before I get the chance to like actually do it. But I think I've got it figured out. I think I know now what I'm hoping to do and get out of this first year in New York. I hope to stay there for at least, probably 2-ish years, if not longer. But I can only plan so far into the future. And so 1 year is kind of where I'm dropping my planning at for the time being. So yeah, I've got a kind of solid plan in my brain about what that's gonna look like, and that's really exciting. And I will take you guys on that journey with me as it progresses and as things get more solid in my mind. Another thing that's kind of been going on this week, it's Lent. Okay, so I'm Christian, and I don't love talking about like faith stuff online, just because I think that it's super personal and it gets into like I don't know. I think that there are a lot of people who have been hurt by like organized religion, whether that's Christianity or whatever faith practice they grew up in. And I think that that is super, super valid. And so I'm always hesitant to be too, um, yeah, too talky about it online, just because I know that like people are gonna bring their own stuff when it comes to those kinds of conversations. And I never want someone to feel like they're not welcome, or I can't speak to everyone's experience, you know what I mean? So I don't want to like be having arguments with people um in that way. I don't really mind arguing with other Christians, especially if they're like MAGA. Because I think that that like is valid and productive conversation, because I think that they should probably, you know, acknowledge some of that stuff. Anyway, long story short, all that to say, I don't usually talk about my faith online in this kind of way, but I will talk about it right now because Lent is right now. It's happening, which is the season leading up to Christmas, not Christmas, Easter. It's a 40-day period leading up to Good Friday, basically. Which is basically reflective of the time when Jesus was fasting for 40 days before he was crucified. And so ways that people celebrate Lent kind of vary depending on like your denomination. I grew up in a Baptist church, and so we didn't really do Lent. But now I go to a Presbyterian church. I still wouldn't say that I'm Presbyterian. I think that I like am general Protestant Christian, but I find that the Presbyterian church I attend right now suits me well. And so anyway, they have a little bit more of an emphasis on Lent. And one of the things that I've decided to fast from, and even this, I feel weird talking about it, but I think it's okay. One of the things I've decided to fast from is like social media, specifically TikTok and Instagram. So I have like removed them from my main page on my phone, so I don't see them as much, and I ignore the notifications that come in. And so I'm gonna be 40 days without that. And I only really bring it up here because I've been following a lot of people who do, or I've been following a lot of people online who are kind of into this like new analog trend. I guess it's not new. It's the way that people have existed for thousands of years before cell phones, right? But this analog trend has been popping off on my TikTok and my YouTube and all of those things. And so this is kind of like a mini version of that, I think. I'm just taking 40 days to not be doom scrolling on TikTok or like Instagram. And it's been a few days so far. And honestly, I think it's been really good. I think it's been really good on a spiritual level, but in a that's something that like again is too personal, I feel, for me to be talking about online. But on like a practical level, it's also been good for me in the sense that I don't wake up and instantly go to Instagram or TikTok. And also like I'm not distracted by it as often as I used to be. I was using TikTok a lot. And so like letting myself just breathe in my day-to-day life. And when I get bored, that's not what I go to instantly, has been really interesting. I have still been playing a lot of games on my phone, but I find that I've been gravitating more towards long form content, which is probably good for like the attention span. Reading a bit more. I started trying to read Wuthering Heights. I don't know. I don't know if I'm like someone that can get into that book, but I'm gonna try. And yeah, just in general, not deleting, but like removing TikTok and Instagram from my life for this period of time seems like it's gonna be good for me. And I think it'll also be, I'm struggling to talk today. It'll also be really good for me just like in this process of leading up to moving, I think, because yeah, I'm gonna be moving at the end of April and Easter is like the beginning of April, I think, this year. So it'll be a lot less distraction in this pre-moving era of my life. And I think that that's good. And that's kind of all I've got for you this week. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that video I told you guys about. I said I was gonna make a video about movies. It's coming. I kind of procrastinated today, so I won't be making it today. And tomorrow might be kind of busy for me too. But I promise you it's coming. I really do want to get that out there for you. My goal for the year, as far as like YouTube goes, to share a little behind the scenes on that, is to post 12 videos this year that are not artist diary videos. So I promise that that video is coming, okay? It just hasn't happened yet. All right, that's really all I've got for you. I thank you so much for coming here and watching and chatting with me, and I love you so much. Bye.